So alternator, right? So I changed the alternator a while ago because I thought I had a problem with the alternator. Turned out it wasn't the alternator. So obviously now I've got two alternators, and in my way of doing things, because the original alternator's been off the car, I've cleaned it. I've given it a bit of a clean, spruced it up, makes it look, make it look a bit more presentable. The one I bought was obviously just off a scrapper from eBay, Original alternators for, I think the original alternator from Ford is about 500 quid. I think you get a £40 surcharge if you return your old alternator. But yeah, I don't know if they even sell original brand new ones anymore. I think it's like drive shafts, they're just off the recondition units. Anyway, that's the charge for a brand new one, £500 if you're wondering. I don't know why they're that much, that just seems ridiculous, but that is what they are. Yeah, the job's quite straightforward. You've got the alternator right at the top of the engine, it's just 3 bolts. Well, 2 bolts and one nut, which is attached to a threaded inverted Torx that goes into the engine mount that attaches to the engine. So you get basically, remove the light, take off the belt, disconnect the battery obviously, disconnect the wiring loom to the alternator, the electric connector as well, and then unbolt it, and it should come out from the side where the coolant line is. Just be careful taking it out though, because you don't want to put stress on the coolant hose, or just generally just cause damage around that area. It is frustrating, and it's not easy getting it out, but I generally take the pulley off. There's a pulley on the actual alternator and I just remove that. You can change it if you want for a new one. I think they're about 30 odd quid. Ridiculous, isn't it? That's genuine though. I generally don't go for aftermarket stuff. I just find aftermarket's junk. It either doesn't work. A lot of I know a pulley's not electrical, but I can remember when I had my 150. When I had my Mark 6 ST150, I changed the distributor pack went down. It's not individual coils like it is on the ST. So the Dizzy pack went down. I got an aftermarket one, and it was worse. In fact, the actual aftermarket one, the ECU couldn't read it, so I had to buy a genuine Ford distributor pack. Anyway, that's just basically giving you an idea about aftermarket. I'm not a fan. I just don't think the quality is there with aftermarket stuff. But anyway, that's just my opinion on that. Yeah, so alright, enough. I've been waffling now, but yeah, it's straightforward. Get the car jacked up, or you can put the car either on ramps, which I think is a bit easier. Saves you don't have to take the wheel off as well. Get your car on ramps. Just a little thing, if you're not confident driving a car up onto ramps on your own, get a mirror. So I used to use my bathroom mirror. It was just one of those ones on a swingy, had a pivot on it, so you could just remove it from the bathroom. I don't mean literally take a fixed mirror off your wall, but if you get a mirror, stick it next to the end of the ramp where your wheel's going to go up. When you're looking out the driver's window, you can see the end of the ramp through the window. So when you're going up, you can see that you're getting to the end, because I think that's what a lot of people get, a bit uncomfortable with. It's going over basically. But anyway, that's just a technique I use sometimes. If I'm on my own, I'll use the mirror to go up the ramp. Or you can just jack it up. Obviously use axle stands. There's a little plastic tray under there that covers the belts at the bottom. That needs to come out. That's just 2 Torx. I can't remember what they are now. I'll put it in the description on the video when I'm doing it. think the Torx 30s, I think, or 25s, 30s, they need to come out. That gives you access to the belt. Now with the belt, I always take the belt off from the crank pulley because I'm doing it on my own. I wouldn't recommend you copy my way of doing it, because if you slip on the tensioner, so it's a 17mm spanner to get on the tensioner, I haven't got a socket that will go on the tensioner, and you know, because it's so close to the chassis leg, I can't get a ratchet in, so I have to use a spanner with an extension on to take the tension out of the tensioner, to take the belt off. But what I'm saying, basically my point is, just be careful, because if you slip on that spanner, or that spanner comes off the tensioner and you've got your hand on it, you know, trying to get the belt off, you'll do yourself a nasty injury. So just be careful. It would be really convenient if you just had a friend. You just basically take the tension out, disconnect the belt from the actual alternator itself. It's a lot easier, but you know, like I say, real world situation, you're doing it on your own. Right, I can't remember if I've already mentioned, but I'm on my dinner break, so I've got half hour to do this job. So that's my you know, I'm going to try and get it done in half an hour. But knowing me, things will start getting painted and bloody, you know, wire wheeled and stuff. Anyway, let's get cracking with video. Right, I'm going to just going to do this section with a voiceover. I wasn't originally, but all you can hear is me breathing. It's got a bit annoying, so yeah, I'm just going to voice over this section. Right, yeah, so obviously disconnect the battery, because that will cause problems. You need to take the light out, because that will make it a lot easier, obviously. Oh, we've not even got to that bit about the light. Yeah, so this is that plastic cowling that goes on the bottom of the engine, just covers the belts. Yeah, that's it there, with part number as well. It is, yeah, so it's just two, yeah, that face indicates the aluminium on the engine at the minute. It just looks awful. That needs addressing. Yeah, so basically it's just two clips, two Torx 30s. You'll see them when you get under there. You probably can get to the tensioner from the top of the engine, but I was kind of just a bit restricted for time at this point, so I didn't investigate that. It probably will be a bit tricky, as there's not much access to the tensioner from the top. I seem to have a bit of a problem finding a socket and a ratchet to get in, even from the bottom, you know, because the tension is close to the chassis leg. So I ended up just having to use a spanner in the end, with a spanner extension on it. Like I say in the intro, just be really careful what you're doing with the tensioner if you're not really experienced, because you can really hurt yourself if you pin your hand with the belt or whatever. Right, so that's off. I was really trying my best to get a good view here. It was tricky for me to film this bit because I've only got the car on the ramp. But yeah, you can just see there taking the tension off. Now, like I said in the intro, I'm taking it off from the actual crank pulley. It just makes it easier for me doing it on my own, that's all. If you take it off from the aircon pulley, it's a bit more tricky, I found. So I just did it from the crank, because, you know, you've got to realign everything. Right, so you're back up top now. Yeah, remove that coolant hose. It's just clipped to the chassis support. Yep, 15mm. You should use a combination, just as a normal 15mm socket, and then progress to a long reach. Yeah, that hose on the aircon line's looking a bit crusty, a bit worn. I'm going to get that replaced at some point. Letting the old team down, it is. Yeah, so just undo this bolt. It seemed a bit of a funny one, this bolt, actually, trying to get it back in. It was a bit of a sod to line back up, but no, you know, yeah, just so get your hand in. Try not to disturb your belt too much. But yeah, it's like I say, combination of a short reach socket, well, standard socket, and then a long reach. Ah, yeah, I just said it there. Yeah, mummy. Right, so it's quite a long bolt. Takes a bit of undoing, but once it's out, you then go to the top. Oh no, I've changed my plan. Right, take the little plastic cap off, and then disconnect your electrical connector, which is a 13mm. Like I say, you probably need a magnet. It helps just to grab it as it comes off. And then you can just should be able to just get your nail in and pull the actual connector off the alternator itself. Yeah, this is a bit tricky, disconnecting the electric connector. That can be a bit of a sod. I mean, I'm quite lucky. I have small hands, so I can get in those tight little gaps. So yeah, I don't suffer with the big sausage fingers, thankfully. Right, top bolts, another 15mm. Just undo it. You're probably best leaving this one in, actually. This bolt, I ended up putting it back in just to support the alternator, because when you take the threaded stud out, which I'm doing now, well, take the 13mm nut off first. Sorry, the 15mm nut first. Then you're left with a stud sticking in the actual mount. Yeah, I ended up using a spanner. It was just a bit easier. Got the old Hulk power on there. So that's a 13mm nut I'm taking off there. Just checking that bolt's still in the bottom. I didn't think I took it all the way out. Yeah, just removing it completely. And then once this bolt's out, you just want to hang on, just let me do it. Let me take it out. Worst narration ever, this. Yep, she's out. Alright, that's out. Like I say, this bolt I'm removing now, I'd leave that in, loosen it, but leave it in, because then when you take the stud out, which is the next step, you're not relying on the weight of the alternator dragging down. Yep, finger mouse there, if you remember that from the 80s. Yeah, so that's that bolt out, and then I think I'll show now in a second. This it's coming up. That aircon pipe's a bit of a pain in the arse and all, gets in the way. But you can remove that. Well, not remove it, don't remove that, because you can loosen the aircon pipe at the mount, at the strut mount. Yeah, so now you're taking that 15mm nut off. Once that's off, you will then be left with a stud, a very long stud with an E8 socket, inverted Torx type thing on it. Oh, for God's sake, I'm getting it wrong. Right, no, now with the stud giving weight to the alternator, I can take the pulley off. Bloody hell. Right, take your pulley off. Yes, you don't technically have to remove this, but it makes it easier when you're pulling it through the gap. Could do with replacing that mount, actually, that the alternator is attached to. That's looking a bit crusty. Right, yeah, E8 socket. So you're moving that long stud. Like I say, I'm holding the alternator to take the weight off the stud. Should have really left the bolt in, which I do put back in. It's just something to bear in mind.
because you don't want to damage the threads on the actual stud itself, you know, with the weight of the alternator. But I suppose this is what's happening when you're trying to do it within half hour. Yeah. Just take this as a guide rather than an actual how-to. Yeah, I'm just going to grab that bolt now, stick it back in. Yeah, just stick it back in. Yep, adding support to alternator. Yeah, it looked a bit rude, that. Sorry, got the... Yeah, it looked a bit rude. Yeah, a bit of a long one, this one. Look at that, putting tools on slam panel. Bad practice, that. That's how you damage your slam panel. Right, she's totally loose now. So this is it. It's just a case of yeah, just getting it out of that hole. You can see there where the pulley would have give you some issues. Yeah, just be careful there. You don't want to damage that hose or your AC line, or just generally just damage the, you know, your cowling and things around it. There we go, 500 quid taken out. Bloody hell. I couldn't resist. I had to get the wire wheel, didn't I? I had to get the bolts done. Yeah, giving myself a deadline of half hour and then I'm bloody getting wire wheel out. Eesh. And I'm spraying. Yeah. Right. So this is the alternator that I cleaned up, my original alternator. So this has been, you know, looks more presentable now. And I'm gonna, obviously trying to be a bit careful. Yeah, as far as alternators go, this is quite a straightforward one. Yeah, you can remove that nut to your left, top left, where that AC line is. It's basically on top of your strut mount, where your shock absorber sits. There's like a nut on there. I think it's an 8mm or something. Oh, it's a bracket. It's like a bracket. You can just basically. I can't remember if it's actually, I can't even remember if it's a captive nut, but you can loosen that off and you can just take the pressure off the AC line, so you're not just ragging it. Yeah, at this point I'd actually grabbed the wrong bolt. I wanted the bolt for the top there, but I grabbed that bolt that goes in the side. So and then trying to get it in the hole, find the hole was you know, giving me trouble. So yeah, I've just had to go and grab the bolt I intended to pick up originally. There we go. Yeah, I need to make a mental note on my breathing. Honestly. Huffing and puffing every 2 minutes. Right, so, yep, bolt back in. This should just give you enough support now for it just to sit there. Bloody hell, close up of the bloody hell, come on, scalp. Oh. Jesus Christ. Yeah, get it off. Yep, torque. All the two bolts are 48 Newton meters, and there's the nut as well that goes on the threaded stud is 48 Newton meters. Not particularly tight, but you know it's aluminium, isn't it, at the end of the day. Yep, pulley back on, 25 Newton meters. Yeah, if you over tighten it, I think you could probably damage the bearings inside. Yeah, this is the part that can be a pain for most people. It's realigning your belt. Yeah, it can be a bit of a pain. Yeah, I'm underneath car now, just pulling that, putting the belt back on the crank, round the back of the crank pulley. Like I say, that's why I do it this way. Just makes it easy for me when you're on your own. Like, ideally, someone should be up top now, putting that belt over the alternator for you. But like I say, real world scenario, and you're on your own doing it. Right, belt's back on. Make sure your pulley's all lined up as well with your belt. Yep, clip that hose back onto the frame at the front of the engine. That's just me touching the bolts up with a bit of paint. Yeah, don't forget to reconnect the power to the alternator with that 13mm nut and then your electrical connector. And you're pretty much done, really. Obviously, light back in, reconnect your battery, and yeah, that's it. You should have an alternator fully installed and stuff. Yeah, grand, innit? Yeah, what am I doing now? Oh yeah, and that thing on bottom, yeah, get that back on. Bit of a, yeah, got a long reach this time. Made it easier. Yeah, good, well done.